energy in the universe. It is the energy of nature and is the energy of our bodies and is the energy of healing. Without becoming up close personally familiar with scalar energy, I believe it is simply not possible to step into the new world where energy is tuned to interact with specific organs and with the entire body, and in so doing to cure illness and disease. So let's start breaking down the barrier. Imagine for a moment that you have lived your entire life on a little boat adrift in an immense ocean of water. Imagine your little boat to be situated right in the middle of a really big and fast current. In this situation, it would be impossible for you to appreciate or even to be aware that you are moving along on the current, except if you happened to spot a fixed point, like a pole rising from the ocean that had a sign attached to it announcing that it was fixed to the ocean floor. By seeing this pole racing past, you would instantly realize that you were on something very energetic, as opposed to being motionless on an infinite mill pond that you had always imagined to be surrounding you. Well, our situation on planet Earth, within our Milky Way galaxy, within the visible universe, is exactly like being on our little boat in the immense ocean. With all of our space explorations, we have not yet managed to discover any poles attached to the universe's floor, or in other words, any points that have zero energy. So, in reality, we are in exactly the same situation on planet Earth as we are on our imaginary little boat in the ocean, totally unappreciative of the sheer enormity of the energy that is surrounding us, scalar energy. From physics calculations, we obviously have a fair idea about the enormity of this energy, but I can tell you it is mind-blowingly gigantic. There is no comparison that we can make to illustrate its enormity. Even the energy within 1 cubic centimeter of space is as close to infinity as ever could be imagined. To attempt to compare it, for example, with the tremendous energies released by atomic bombs, even with millions of atomic bombs, still fails to give us any sense of its magnitude. And this is for every cubic centimeter of space, throughout all of space. This is the seething energetic ocean within which we live, the energy field of which we are part, the energy field that is us in every sense that you can imagine. What I will explain to you as I take you on this video journey of discovery will, I hope, help you to understand why it is, if we are to enter the new era with best preparation, we must close the books on Newtonian medicine. Strange as it may seem, even though we are surrounded by such enormous scalar energy, it is impossible to observe it or measure it directly with present-day instruments. This is simply because we are totally immersed within it. However, there is some hope for getting acquainted with this elusive scalar energy, because it announces its existence through patterns and phenomena that are observable. Just as on our little boat on the ocean, we manage to get a clue about the nature of the ocean when a breeze builds to a storm and causes waves to crash over our boat. We may not be able to deduce much hard information about the full extent of the ocean's energy from what we observe, but in no uncertain terms we become very aware that it is enormous, because of the pummeling we get from the crashing waves. On quieter days we might take time out to study the waves and the patterns that they make as they interact with our little boat. And from our research we might even start to engineer ways to harness them for our benefit. Scalar energy is composed of what we call stationary waves, like the waves you set up on a rope with one fixed end, when you flap the other end up and down. It is the kind of wave that is created on a violin string, as the bow causes it to vibrate. As you can imagine, the waves are running up and down the string, interfering with each other in such a way that they create a stationary buzzing pattern, a musical note. This is exactly how a scalar wave looks. It obviously contains energy, but it is going nowhere. So now I will explain how this type of wave, scalar waves, interact with each other to create what we call particles or matter. Of course, an atom does not look quite like the one you met in your school textbooks. Say goodbye to the old particle atom and say hello to the new wave-only version. I should point out that we do not do particles anymore. Not even the particles as in the wave-particle duality theory. No, there are no particles, only waves. Waves and more waves. The one confusion that I suspect could arise is caused by the fact that we have run out of new words to describe wave structures that appear to us as though they are particles. So what we do is to continue to use the word particle when referring to these wave structures. So when I mention particle, think the end points of waves where their directions are reversed. We therefore can define a particle as being the stationary wave energy structure that results when we get forward and time reversed waves that become locked in resonance with each other. You could therefore say that the rope that you were flapping connects two particles. One particle is at your hand, and the other particle the point where the rope ties to the wall. These two particles are locked together in resonance between two identical waves that are going in opposite directions, scalar energy waves. This illustrates the locked resonance structure that is an electron. The center point oscillates up and down. In other words, it oscillates between positive and negative, showing how the creation